Welcome to the Accounting Arc Podcast, where analysis, reaction, and comedy collide to tackle the big topics from the world of accounting and beyond. Join our trio of transformation agents as they discuss the hottest topics in and out of the profession, from breaking down industry trends, to reacting to everyday events, to uncovering the hidden humor in numbers. With wisdom, insight, and a dash of levity, they're proving that accounting isn't just about the numbers. It's about life. Because after all, accounting is in everything. The Accounting Arc Podcast starts now.
Welcome back to another episode of ARC. Today we're talking about how to recharge. I think this is such an important topic, especially, as we sit as a profession, we have seasons of busy and seasons of not as busy, and making sure that we're taking care of our physical and mental health the whole time is very important. And I think all of us have a unique perspective on what recharge means. So let's start with the basics. What does that mean to you guys?
For me, I hadn't even thought about what that even means, but I think that's a really good point. For me, it's really about, resting the mind, but it doesn't necessarily mean like resting the body, right? Like I think for me, it's about finding a release for just the amount of noise that's in your head at any given moment. When you're kind of weeded and juggling a lot of projects and things, your brain just, people always say like, they're like, at the end of the day, like, I feel so exhausted, but I didn't even move. I sat at my desk all day. But that's because your brain is like this muscle that you are flexing nonstop. And so finding opportunities to rest that muscle and give it a break is I think what it means to recharge for me.
That's interesting. So I used to think that that's what it meant for me as well, that taking that break. And what I actually found, so I used to sit on the couch and watch Netflix or something, right? Or YouTube and whatever. And I actually found that that made me more tired. So what I actually learned my recharge is, and actually for me, I went back to kind of my Berkman personality assessment, where one of my top things is literary. Yeah, data, thank you. It's literary. And so for me, it actually was reading. So I brought reading back in, which is actually, but it's a different type of thinking than we're doing in our traditional work. So reading became something that I just started making time for regularly. Or whether it's just articles, I use Flipboard. So whether it's just reading through articles and kind of thinking through things, or actually reading actual books, that became part of it. And then most recently, I also started volunteering with Boys and Girls Club of Hawaii. And awesome. I found, even though that's still work, I'm going out and working with teens. I'm actually helping them with public speaking skills and networking. I ran a networking exercise for them. That, even though it was work and it was on a Saturday, was so rewarding. It was a different kind of recharge and energy that it gave me.
So if I'm extrapolating from what you said, recharge to you means like actually creating more energy in creative ways.
I like that. Wait, I didn't think about
that. So to me, recharging is finding, similarly to you, it's finding that energy that gets drained by things that are repetitive, or things that I'm not necessarily enjoying, or things that are like draining me because of X, Y, or Z. And I have a slightly unique brain. I'm extremely neurodiverse, extremely ADHD, and that creates situations where it is never the same. And so when you're looking at this from like a normal person's perspective, like a normal brain has consistency in some regard, where it's like, okay, these are the things that drain, these are the things that give energy. My brain's not like that. So on one day, something that drains me could give me a ton of energy the next day. And so I have to be like very cognizant of my own self-awareness and emotional, mental, physical capabilities to be able to say what that is on any given day. So I have a few basic rules because there are some things that never change, right? Like I need sunlight I need a lot of water.
Yes. Yes.
Like if I don't have fresh air in my life, if I don't have water or outdoors or, these like basic requirements, I also need a lot of sleep. If I don't get a lot of sleep, I'm kind of a dick, for being honest. And I don't mean to be, I just am. Um, I'm a well-meaning dick, if that's a thing. But honestly, like sleep is very important. But if those three things are good, then what I'm doing outside is up for grabs, right? So like I might one day wake up and be like, you know what? I want to go mountain biking today, and this is like the most energy it could possibly give me, and I will be so happy and so excited about this. And the next day I might wake up and be like, oh, mountain biking sounds like it's going to take so much energy for me to do. Like I do not want to do that. All I want to do is like sit in a pool and drink a cocktail and like not talk to anyone. And that's like a completely different vibe, but also both things at different times will recharge my batteries, which is, I know, a complex way to think about it. It's kind of like an algorithm. Like it depends on like what is the weather, what have I done that week? Like all of these things play into it, right?
Too many vary. I think if
Yeah.
I'm feeling like exhausted, then and if I have to factor in that many variables to figure out like my recharge, it's just there will be no decisions to be made. I'll just be over it. But I mean, you nailed for me. I mean, two things that absolutely are a must. Sleep, like quality, consistent sleep. I mean, I think I'm sure we've talked about this stuff in the past. In the last like 5 years, I've just been adamant about like quality sleep, and it really does change so much. And like being outside, like sunlight, like it that really. In fact, we had a period here for like 6 weeks of just gray weather, almost no sun, and I was drained every day trying to get motivated. I'm outside every morning with the farm doing things, but the lack of sunlight really just I didn't get that battery recharge in the morning. So those two things, I like there's no algorithm required are a must. They are
Mm.
foundational things for recharging.
I would
Yeah.
definitely echo the sunlight and the outdoors. For me, it's the going into my garden, working in the garden, which has me
Yes.
out in the sun and touching the earth and the plants and being on the grass. And I actually, even when I read, I actually go to the beach or the park and I'm either at a bench or on the
Oh, nice.
sand actually reading too.
That's wonderful. I have some other basic rules for neurodivergence. Like one of them is if I feel like the world hates me and I can't do anything right, that generally means I need to eat something healthy.
Mm.
So I will go have like a spinach salad or Greek yogurt with fruit, depending on time of day and what's available. But these are things that like make me feel better internally. If I am angry, like just really mad at the world, I need to go for a walk. I definitely need to be outside moving my body. And generally speaking, a walk is always acceptable, except for right now because I have a broken leg, which makes this role very difficult to like figure out how to compensate for. Although I've been considering doing cold plunges in my pool, which is about like
Ooh.
55 degrees. So I'm like,
Yes, do it.
this might
Do it.
equate, right? There's sunlight, there's movement. It shocks your nervous system in a different way.
Yes.
So those are two like kind of basic rules I have. If I am feeling like um, I just can't get anything done, like there is no productivity happening, I need to do the complete opposite of whatever I'm doing. And that helps me as well. So, like, if I'm working on a spreadsheet and my spreadsheet is like not working, it's not giving me like the answers I want, I'm not figuring out the formulas I need, like, I'm just getting frustrated and I'm banging my head up against the wall, I'll pull a Donny and I'll grab a book and go outside and read it somewhere else, right? Like, do something totally different. Or I'll call a friend and be like, hey, let's talk about,
Yeah.
gossip or something dumb. Like, don't use my brain, just talk to me, be a friend, let's have a conversation, and then I come back to it later. And so those are some other basic rules I use to recharge myself. And it has taken me a long time to like come to the self-awareness, right? And that's the thing that I would challenge with everybody is thinking about, okay, so when I have that draining feeling, when I like know I'm not being productive, when I'm cranky, when I'm feeling really
Mhm.
sensitive, when, there's all these things, like test it out. Like take a diary, be like, okay, so today I felt super cranky and then I went for a walk and then I felt better, right? Or I went for a walk, it didn't work. That sucks. Okay, next time I'm going to drink like 8 ounces of lemon water. See if that helps, right? Next time I'm going to go read a book on a beach. See if that helps, right? I'm going to go do cartwheels or jumping jacks or whatever, right? Like just pick a thing and start like writing down where you were at to begin with, what you did, and then the outcome. And then we'll get back to like Donnie's data collection and making decisions on data, which I also do all the time. But this one, particularly just being self aware and identifying, like, okay, what is this feeling like? Because feeling drained can take so many forms, right? Like it
Right.
can just
Yep.
be exhaustion, it can be crankiness, it can be sensitivity, it can be like even sometimes your eyeballs aren't focusing right. Like I don't know if you guys experience that, but I
Hmm.
do. Or you get like a mild headache or mild nausea, or there's like all sorts of physical things that can also be ramifications of that drained feeling, which we put in this huge bucket. So it's like take the huge bucket,
Yep.
narrow it down, be like, this is the particular feeling of this moment in this drained bucket. Here are the things I'm going to try. Go through your list, see what works and see what doesn't. And then you'll have your own rules for like when you're in that mindset, here are the things to try. And so for me, I know the default things that work, and I share them with the people around me. So, like, my team knows if I'm kind of being a dick, they'll be like, let's go get a healthy snack and take a walk. And I'll be like, okay, I will do that. And then we can come back to this conversation, right? Or if I'm getting impatient or frustrated.
You said it several times. I think that self-awareness is key, and it's really unique to yourself because you have to figure out what works for you. And I like your suggestion of kind of the basically experimentation. So we're using the scientific method, do some experimentation, see what works. And as you even said, some days the same thing may not work, and you kind of need to figure out why, or at least not immediately write it off because it's kind of same for me, where there was a period, I think it was actually maybe 3 years ago now, where I did all these things that I enjoyed and I kept going and kept going, kept going, and then I hit a burnout. Even though I was enjoying all of it, my body just needed that rest. And so I know that there are times too that I have to pay attention. I just need to take that nap, or I just need to disconnect and just do something completely different.
Yeah.
Yes. Showers too.
Oh, for me, baths. Baths, that's
Oh,
the one
there
I'm
you
missing
go.
because when I moved
Yeah.
back, my aunt's house here does not have a bathtub. I was like, what do we?
Oh, no.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's all really great advice. And I think, it's interesting to your point about different things for different people. Like I would actually love in a lot of respects, like to go read a book. But I swear, like I was conditioned as a child to read before bedtime. So now when I begin to read, I fall asleep. I'll get like 3 pages in, and I've just been conditioned to fall asleep when my eyeballs go left or right. So figuring that out as to what works when makes a lot of sense.
Maybe you got a speed read, which is corner to corner.
Is it corner to corner? I got to work on that one.
That is how you speed read.
Is it really? Oh,
It
wow.
is.
I have never mastered that. I
Me
am a very
either.
slow reader in the grand
Me too.
scheme of readers.
It
Yeah.
takes me a
I'm
long
like,
time to read stuff.
and I also like to do the voices. So if there's like any dialogue in my head, I'm like, there's totally different voices and accents and like every different iteration of things going on, which entertains me. And that's clearly why I do that in my own brain. But it is not fast.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I love Audible. And actually, like now as we talk about this, I mean, there's definitely times when I'll go through periods where like my Audible or podcast feed is all like specific topic or something that I'm going after. And then at some point I'll be like, I need to like kind of reset my skull. And then I'll do a fiction book on Audible. And Liz, like you said, like you get the different voices and you kind of like imagine everything. And there's a couple of like go-to books that I just know are like books that I love and will like kind of like allow my brain to like relocate into that imaginary world, which is a great recharge opportunity.
I think in accounting that we too often forget that we have to put our own mask on first, like in an airplane, right? Put our own mask on first before we help others. And our whole thing is, oh, there's clients, I gotta help the clients, I gotta do all this stuff. And we're giving so much of ourselves that we're not taking that time to take care of ourselves. It's part of the reason why at the center we created this whole personal resilience program, which is really, you need, for you to be that strong rock and foundation for the clients, you need to be solid yourself first. So it really is a matter of taking care of ourselves, and then we can take care of others. In fact, we can take care of more others the stronger that we are as a foundation. And that's also why a lot of what we do is based in teams, because then even if you're faltering, some of the teammates can jump in to cover or to allow you the time to rest so that you can rest, but we're still holding everybody up. So that's why I think working together in a team is so important, as well as taking care of yourself.
I love that. I have a few narrators that I really like on Audible, and there's a few that always put me to sleep. And so I know who they are,
There
and
you
then I
go.
find books that they narrate if I can't sleep, or like if I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, okay, I don't want to think about whatever anxiety thoughts I'm having. Let me listen to this narrator that puts me to sleep and immerse myself in that other world and then fall asleep into weird dreams normally. But it's better than not sleeping.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that I did as a young professional was force sleep, and that made a really, really big deal. When you work for big public accounting firms, it's sleep is not actually really encouraged. Working late, getting up early, like putting in the hours, all that is very much encouraged. And I had a very hard rule where it was like, okay, I am going to sleep this number of hours, come hell or high water, and
Mhm.
not kill myself to get through this. And for the most part, that worked. Of course, there were definite nights where I had to do
Right.
overnights and, just get stuff done. But I can say my like 6 hour rule during busy season made a huge difference on my productivity every other day. And then that has increased. I have a 9 hour rule now where I force myself
Nice.
to like, I will not go to sleep. If I have to get up at a certain time, I will be in bed 9 hours before that time is. And if I don't have a certain time that I have to wake up, I will not set any alarm until 9 hours after I get to bed. And that honestly like makes a world of difference in so many different directions, including like physical. Like I do a lot of weightlifting and I can tell
Oh
you
yeah.
I build way more muscle when I'm sleeping than when I'm not. And my progress is better. My lifts are better. Like I'm
Yep.
feeling more healthy. And it's insane because like you think sleep is like, whatever. It's a thing we need, I guess. But it is definitely a thing that I need to function. And my whole
Oh,
body does so much better with it.
without a doubt. I mean, and I look back when I was younger and I get frustrated with I mean, I used to say all the time, I'll sleep when I die. I'll sleep when I
Hmm.
die. Like it's fine.
Hmm.
Like there's plenty
Yep.
of time. And to your point, physically you feel much better. Mentally, I mean, there's the example that I always cite for people is the whole expression like let me sleep on it. That's a real thing. Like if you have a challenge and you're thinking about it, you're like cycling through, that shit gets figured out while you're asleep. And you wake up
Yep.
the next day and all of a sudden you're like, why did I have that epiphany in the shower? Well, that's because your brain thought about it overnight while you were sleeping. I really wish when I was much younger, I had had that discipline and understanding of how important sleep was because I definitely disrespected it for many years. And now, like having a discipline, I'm absolute bare minimum 7 hours. And it is all the things you said, and more.
Oh, that's interesting. So the part of what I've learned too about this self-awareness or is actually tied to my sleep cycle. So 7 is my normal. When I start to stress, it reduces to 6. And it's funny, it's not like a half, it's exactly 6.
Wow.
Reduces to 6. And when I'm really stressed, it reduces to 5. Because my brain will get up after the however many hours it is, and it will just start going. And I cannot quiet it. And so I've learned, oh, that's just a stress sign. So I'm taking that as a stress sign. And then I know I need to interject more recharge activities around it just because I'm getting less sleep. But totally agree with both
Yeah.
of you. I mean, the research also shows muscle reformation, brain clears out toxic and excess matter during sleep. So
Yep.
sleep is that regenerative time that we all need.
Yeah,
Without a
and the
doubt.
science actually backs what you said, Byron, about your brain figuring stuff out in your sleep. So
Yeah.
they've done a lot of studies about learning and development, and one of the things is like if you're trying to learn something new, studying it
Yes.
right before you go to sleep is the best time to study it because then your subconscious is learning it and storing it in a more long-term memory state than the short-term memory state during your normal conscious studying. And so I read that study when I was in high school. And I, for the entirety of my, the end of my high school and the entirety of my college and grad school career, used that technique in that I would
Yep.
study right before bed the things that I was struggling the most with. It was amazing. Like I learned so much. And I am a very auditory learner. So like I need people talking about it. So I used to set up these like late night study groups at like 10 p.m. with my like grad school friends. And I'd be like, okay, let's talk about these topics that I'm struggling with. And then they'd all be like, okay, let's go to the bar. And I'm like, no, I'm going to bed. Bye. And go straight to sleep. And they thought I was nuts, but I did really well on the
Yeah.
test. So I'm pretty sure it worked.
Yeah, well, and to your point, it's not only for like learning new things mentally, it's also learning new things physically. I mean, there's been studies where they've had people learning the piano and like you said, like right before bed, and they'll keep people up for 12 hours and then retest them again, and they'll let other people sleep for a certain amount of hours and retest them again. And they've proven their progression of learning the piano skills is accelerated by sleeping more.
Mhm.
It's just
It's amazing.
it's absolutely amazing, and I that was something I was glad that I learned it early enough to help my daughters learn to like not do all night cram sessions and actually
Hmm.
sleep before tests for all the reasons that you cited and stuff like that. But it's anytime you're feeling stressed, it like look to your sleep schedule. I mean, Donnie, that's fascinating that you can see your sleep patterns getting interrupted by those types of things and the need to do it. I mean, what a great like canary in the coal mine with respect to, whether or not you need to recharge.
That was the Fitbit data.
Yes. I love my Whoop for that stuff. I mean, tracking it is fascinating.
Although I found
Yeah.
that the sleep score is definitely not accurate on those.
Yeah, it's a baseline that you can track and kind of it's not as much the accuracy, but the baseline. So you can see changes if something is happening, or I mean, it comes back to also, I mean, the thing that fascinated me was just seeing the impact of alcohol on my sleep, and I definitely consume much less alcohol now seeing how it's interrupted my sleep based on the data. Like, I can remember in the past days being like, why am I so sluggish in the morning? Like, dummy, you had 3 beers last night.
Well, just
Too
three?
funny.
I know, right? Maybe it was 3 whiskeys, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I eliminated alcohol. Besides the doctor order, also before that,
There's
I'd
that
already
too.
stopped drinking more than one.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it
that's
was
really interesting.
it was funny though on this topic. The other day at Carbon, we have a Slack channel where they ask like random questions just to share some stuff, and one of the questions was actually around like, what do you do to recharge? And it was fascinating scrolling through, just seeing, there were like everybody from I need like quiet space to be by myself for multiple hours to like, I'm like, I want to be with people. Like, throw me in a conference. That is like the best recharge time ever. Even though like I don't sleep, I absolutely like, do everything you shouldn't do, but I will come out of a conference being super recharged. And other people are like, God, do not put me in a room full of people. That will just drain me completely. But it was really fascinating to just see like the wide variety of things that are helpful to people that are totally different.
I think that hammers down the like, you have to know what works for you. And figuring that out is kind of a journey, right? And becoming self-aware about your needs and your particular brain and your particular body is very, very important. Like, for example, if I drink and then go to sleep, I wake up early and happy, and it is not good because I am not a morning person naturally. I never wake up early and I never wake up happy. I wake up with a like sense of why do I have to wake up? Like I would like to sleep more. Even on my like typical 9 hour sleep days. And so it is funny if like it does interrupt my sleep, obviously, but I also just wake up like way early. I'll wake up at like 6 a.m., like happy and hyper. And
It's that neurodivergent brain. It
yeah,
just
it
does
just doesn't
opposite.
work. It
Yeah.
doesn't work right. It's like something's wrong. It's also Sudafed puts me to sleep. So if I have a cold and I take
It's
Sudafed, I
opposite.
like am
Yeah.
constantly napping and it is really hard to get work done. But also that's the only thing that works to drain my sinuses. So good times. Yeah. But anyways, so going back to that, individuality is very important and experimentation. And if you need ideas, like honestly, use ChatGPT or Claude and ask it for ideas
Oh,
and
yeah.
describe yourself like in your prompt. Explain like, this is my typical, like I'm introverted, I'm extroverted, I'm outroverted, or whatever you want to call it. Or, these are activities I really enjoy when I'm not drained. Here are activities that drain me. Here's, what should I try when I'm feeling like X, right? If you're not in the brain space to think about it, I love outsourcing that type of thought work because it's easy and it's like there are, a subset of things, right? It's not like everybody has new and original things. There's a
Right.
subset of things that work for most people. So it's like, go try those, see what happens. And if you're too drained to think about it, have someone else explain it to you like an AI.
Absolutely. Or even a friend or partner, right? Because they
Yeah.
probably know they're like, every time you get hungry, you're an asshole. And you're like, really? I didn't realize that. Yeah, it's yeah, go you need to
That's
go eat your
universal.
salad.
That's why we call it angry, right? That's
Yes.
universal.
It's
There are
blood
some
sugar
people who
drops
don't have
affect
that awareness,
emotions.
right? Like there's people who don't have that awareness in themselves
Hmm.
though to recognize it. And so
Absolutely.
like you kind of need somebody close to you to be like, Dummy, hey, you need some good
Hmm.
food. Eat a
Yeah.
Snickers.
Go eat some spinach, Popeye. It works for
Uh,
me anyways. So yeah, I appreciate your guys' thoughts on recharging, and also how to combat draining and what happens during really busy seasons of work when you're doing the same thing over and over again, because it can be very, very difficult for anybody to sit still that long and do that type of work. And I think as a profession, we have gotten more aware of that over the years. And so, I think we've gotten more accepting and understanding of different work schedules, or maybe you're not the person that's going to work like 8 a.m. until 12 a.m. Maybe you're the person that's going to work like 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then again 9 p.m. to 12 a.m., right? And take a break in the middle of the day. I think that knowing that about yourself and working that into your
yeah,
schedule and being very communicative with, whoever you're working with and your team is extraordinarily important. And also like experimentation and documenting everything for yourself. I know has helped me a ton in terms of understanding what to do in those moments that I'm not feeling great and I don't necessarily have the brain power to make decisions, which is
You
the
you
other
raise
side.
a you raise a really good point too, which I think which is we also need to be cognizant that what recharges us may not be what recharges our team members. And so
Mhm.
whether it's a peer or whether it's a subordinate, to tell them go do this because that's what recharges me really may not help them if you're seeing them be tired or fatigued or drained looking. It's really about what can we do, and it's to have that flexibility that maybe their work schedule is going to be different than yours in the end, as long as they're helping to help to achieve the team's goals, to not judge and go, well, you're not doing it the way I'm doing it. And to have that give them that flexibility for how they work best. We have to remember that as supervisors and managers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's such a good point. One of the things that I always remind myself about is, sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. And like when you are like just feeling the world is like landing on your shoulders, you can't make a decision, you're overwhelmed. I there's somebody very close to me who sometimes feels that way, and I'll say, you know what, you need to go ride your horse, or you need to go do something, and they go, I don't have time for that. I have all this shit I have to get done. And you're like, you're not going to be productive here. Go outside, go do the thing that recharges you. And I know you're slowing down, but it will speed you up in the end.
That is great advice.
Yeah, because, if you don't do that, then the burnout turns into like real burnout. Like it's not just a drain day, it turns into like months or weeks of I can't get through this. And that is what we're trying to avoid.
Spot on.
Yeah. So thank you guys for this wonderful conversation around, recharging and what it means to feel drained and what it is to recharge and how it's unique to everybody and giving some great ideas for what works for you and me. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. So what are you going to do this afternoon to recharge? Let's leave it with that.
Yeah, I got it. This last 45 minutes with the two of you as recharged me. I'm ready to run a marathon.
Good. Mine's is the opposite. This afternoon I actually have a meeting-free afternoon. So I'm
Ooh.
actually going to dive into some reports that my team has been waiting for me to review for a while, but I'm also recharged. This is a great conversation. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love talking to you guys. It is definitely a highlight of my week every week. I'm going to attempt a cold plunge this afternoon because, again,
Awesome.
with the broken leg, there is not much activity I can do. And it is kind of a rainy day, anyways, so might as well just go get wet outside.
Do it. Go get that
Go for
adrenaline
it.
surge. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys again. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Thank
You too.
you.
Thanks all about you
Bye,
all
guys.
for joining us. Bye.
See y'all.
The Center for Accounting Transformation provides business professionals with a network for utilizing innovations that are ready for adoption, the training and resources necessary to apply those innovations, and an opportunity to engage the talent and community needed to further the pursuit of innovative accounting practices that drive responsible and mindful business performance. Find out more at our website, www.improvetheworld.net. And if you're interested in sharing your own transformation stories, please contact us there.